Morning everyone, welcome to another day trading setup session here on March 4th, 2022. And first thing what we'll do this morning, of course, is jump over to Forex Factory and just take a look at any planned events that may impact the markets today. And it's Friday, so we do have, or just had actually at 8:30 this morning, the average hourly earnings just from unemployment rate, unemployment or change in unemployment rates itself. Looks like those numbers are mostly positive. Only one that was just a little bit under was the hourly earnings. It was supposed to go up 0.5%. You can see that was actually a flat number here. We got a little bit of a spike, just a couple of minutes ago on some of the index, or all of the indexes, but nothing really significant. Right now, the events in the Ukraine are really overtaking most of the normal activity here. So it's just good to keep that in mind. One of the things we're going to talk through today when we talk about some of these positions is how to prepare, how to hold these positions over the weekend in general, but in particular, with everything else going on right now. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into it, starting with the dollar. We can see here, right, dollar is still just moving up significantly right now. So this feed is delayed on this platform right here. I do have a live feed over here on my left, so 98.72 is where we actually got so far. So we are very, very close to these areas here. I'm going to go ahead and just zoom in on these a little bit for you, right? So we've got ones at 98.99 up to 99.40, and then 99.78 to 100.12. Technically speaking, this is a picture perfect zone. The second leg out here is the shorter one. So the first zone is the one that should hold. This is a fairly significant zone, really good formation all over the place. Let me just double check what our weekly trend is. The weekly trend is still neutral. So this would not even be considered a counter trend trade to get in that on a daily perspective. We'll take a look at the euro to see if there's anything really there that we could take advantage of, since we don't trade a dollar here, although some people out there do. But yeah, that's a very, very solid zone coming up here very shortly. Everything else, so one of the ones that we drew out the other day, right, looking at this area here on the 45-minute chart, and what ended up happening, right, we just came down to this lower area right here. This zone didn't actually hold itself, but this whole entire area really proved to be very, very strong. So let me go ahead and just get rid of that and fill that in. That one missed. Nothing, let's see. So again, because we're coming up to that daily area over there, we just got to be very careful about taking any shorter term or a shorter time frame long positions into that. We want to see what happens there before we get into anything else. So I wouldn't really be interested in getting into additional longs right now. We're at the very, very top of our context area. And of course we do have that solid supply zone coming into play there. Moving over to Euro USD, let's see what we got here. Looks like we actually just came down through this daily zone here. That corresponds with it, and we did. So we're actually down into the second zone, which, here, let me just zoom in on this, and I'll change the color so we can see this a little bit better. Let's make that one. I think it's supposed to be off-white. Good enough. Off-white. All right. So these legs are almost identical. So really, the entry point would have been lower in here. I'll put the entry point You know, so I usually split it, but then drop it a little bit lower because price usually goes further into each zone. So if you split it about right here and then drop it down a bit, probably more in this area right here. Let's go see where we're at right now. So coming down into the second zone right now, 90, looking at the live chart over here, 98.8. So if we got to 98.9 on the dollar and the euro is still in this zone, this one should be a pretty good spot to take. So that being said, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and put a trade in on my Forex account for that. And I'm going to not use the euro zone here. I'll use the dollar zone as my stop there, really, and where the price is going to be at, because that dollar one, since it's not quite lined up right now, but that dollar one is in a little bit better position than the euro one is. So that one in, profit of, let's go, and our stop is going to be down at, well, for right now I'll just put it in at 1.085. All right. Okay. Looking up and just seeing if there's anything up here that's going to cause it to stop. You'll get a little bit of a bump right here, but again, too far down into this context area to really have that hold, especially coming out of another strong daily zone the way it is right now. Let's see here, I'll check. Again, just looking for other areas to continue taking this short in case that one, doesn't work. Let's see here, so this 180 area here looks pretty good, but there's nothing looking left of it. So, and again, just coming out of that very, very strong daily zone, I just don't see that working out very well. Again, very, very low in the context. We tend to try not to, go short when you're low in a context like that, or go long when you're high in an overall context like that either. So I think we'll set that up for the daily, and that is going to be it for the Euro USD. All right, let's look at VIX. Look at our volatility here. Again, we're just overall move up, right? You can see that here on the daily chart, in this kind of channeling right here. This is one of those things where there aren't any zones you can really take advantage of, but just look at the general overall move up right here. And when we get to the indexes, we'll see if it'll be a combination of what the VIX looks like and what the indexes look like, since they do work so closely together. Unless there's something just completely out of whack with one of them, we can typically look at them together. But generally speaking, it looks like the VIX is going to keep moving up until it gets to, again, probably this 44 area, which if you take these lines right here, right, you just use this as a indicator, right, and extend that one right, and then you do the same thing for the bottom here, right. You've really got this channel going up right now, and so price would keep bouncing back and forth and eventually get back up in the 44 area, and then it'll drop down from there. All right, so see, other than that, we are in an uptrend, so we're looking for areas to go, that would indicate that price is going to go up here. I don't actually trade the VIX, although you you can. You can trade VIX, so you can trade options on it. Let's see, not. Yeah, nothing really here that's worth looking into right now. So let's go ahead and move over to our indexes now. And let's see, we had, let's say, a 30-minute one. Yeah, so a couple of these ones that I had set up yesterday, we hadn't called them out as actual trades. It was just more watching them. Both of them ended up being break evens if you would have taken them. But then look back all the way over here, we did have this other 45-minute zone that I had drawn, right? This one right here with a 44.1835 getting into it. Now this one, again, didn't call it out as a trade because we were leaning back more towards this was almost a counter trend trade. But as you can see, right, price came right up into it and responded to it very well. I did look back at this one yesterday, and technically speaking, we could have kept it, right? It wasn't a full counter trend trade yet, but it was it was too far out in time. Only on a 30-minute zone, I probably would have taken it if it would have been like a 60 or a 120 or 180, something like that. So that's why I just pulled back on that one. I didn't actually take it, but as you can see, that area did work out very, very well. Nothing else on this chart though in general. So we've got daily chart. We're still, this is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row, 7 trading days in a row now, where we're just basically doing inside days. So it can be very difficult to trade these. Just again, overall, we are still in a down trend on our lower time frames. So we're just continuing to look for areas to get short on, and unfortunately here there is nothing good. Just based on what is going on right now with Ukraine, is particularly with, I think this morning the nuclear power plant was taken over, either this morning or last night. Things just continue to get worse there. I would say that is going to drive the markets lower. Now, what will be interesting, this we'll talk a little bit about this for each one of these areas, but primarily the indexes. When you've got this, area where you can't trade over the weekend, and the potential for things to change drastically. So as an example, right, if let's say something happens where, hopefully this is the case, they have peace talks, right, or a ceasefire, everything stops over there, everything is resolved over the weekend, you would see the index markets, open way, way, way higher. There'll be a significant gap. So if you get short today on something and your stop is very close to where price action is at, you could be blown out for just a significant loss. So that's why you want to just be very, very careful when you're taking positions into weekends where there could be news that would drive significant price changes in the market. You want to make sure that you've either got hedges in for that. I know a lot of people I know do options positions going into the weekend if they have an open position like that. That way, if you do buy a couple of calls, if the price gaps way up, those pay off for you very, very well. But if nothing happens, which is the more likely scenario, and price stays where it's at, then you just sell them, on Monday at the open, either at break even or a tiny loss. But then your other position is still moving in the right direction. So that's one way you can help cover some of that risk. I'm not seeing anything here that we're going to try and take advantage of. We'll continue to watch like the share bars throughout the morning. But this will be a day where 99 times out of 100, if there's no trades in place by noon, you just call it a day, pack everything up, close the computer down, go do something else, and just don't worry about taking that extra risk there. All right, NASDAQ. Let's take a look at this on a daily chart, because I think we came up through the first area that we were looking at. Let me actually, so what we talked about the other day was, this area here, it never it never solidified into a good enough zone because price didn't move far enough away from it. So we're just watching these areas, and as you can see here, right, it did call out the red line here as the potential midpoint between these two zones. Price never got quite there, but has now started moving down from this overall area, just kind of keeping in line with the overall, bigger picture trend that we're in right now. And again, just we're all inside days here, just moving sideways, so you'd have to wait for price to get above or beyond one of these before you start taking any longer term positions. And then it's just looking through these to see if there's anything here. And again, we're only looking at shorts right now, and there's nothing there worth taking. So RTY did respond again. So this area here that we called out that we're just going to watch again, because price never broke below it, never closed below this pivot low over here. So because of that, we couldn't take this as a trade. Watching it though, and you can see here, right, price has responded to it fairly well, and it's now coming back down out of it. And so we're back over into, let's look at this 181 again, right? We said we could take this because it was a neutral trend. Now, here's the deal, right? We're going into this weekend now. I would absolutely not, if this trade hits today, I would absolutely not hold this over the weekend. So this will either be watch it and let it go 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1, take a small profit off of this, or leave it open, see what happens with it throughout the day, but then, before, 5 p.m. tonight, just make sure that this position gets closed out. Unless, of course, price hits here and just skyrockets up, right? If you're sitting on a 10-15-to-1 profit up here with maybe one of your contracts left open or something like that, you want to hold that over the weekend, yeah, that's probably not a bad idea, honestly. All right. So again, because we're a neutral trend, we can look for other shorts as well, but yeah, just not seeing anything good at all. So set up a couple of these other ones I was watching, kind of like the ES, where I was watching some of these on the YM as well, and as you can see, none of them worked out well. We didn't take in these. I didn't even set them up as trades. I just wanted to kind of watch and see what price was doing. We're just not getting big enough movements right now in order to take advantage of it. Some of these zones are just very, very large as well. Hundreds of points, which is hundreds and thousands of dollars per contract of risk there. So they can be very difficult to take. And again, nothing else here at all. So let's look at oil. Oil, just the only chart that we're really looking at here. Sorry, we were looking at our monthly ones. These ones failed, very clearly failed. Right. Color. But I think we were looking at a weekly area as well. Yeah. So we had all up to 123. We were looking at a close above this 114 area right here. That a little bit bigger so you can see that there. So we're looking at a close above 140, or we're really close above 115. If we get that, then price will continue to go up from here, hit that 123 area, and that's a good solid weekly zone. So you could see see a really good move back down from there. But that's it for holding us up from going up. We are still moving up quite a bit, so looking for other areas to get long on this. And 15-minute zone right here. We are moving up, but shorter term sideways. However, I'm intrigued by this one, but not enough to actually set it up. So I'm gonna mark it but it's more of a watch. What I will do with this one is go look at share bar charts. When price comes down into here, look on a lower time frame share bar and see if I can see any area where price could potentially move or change direction and continue going up. But again, this will be a one where you'll take a smaller profit on and watch it very closely, not looking for any big moves there. Let's see if the what the euro futures have done now. So this same area that we're watching on the euro USD, it's so it came right through this bottom zone right here. Actually, you can't see that. Let me zoom in on this so you can kind of see what we're doing here. So if I just draw this line right here, the bottom of this area, and then you've got still do have this area right here as well. You go back over and look at this. So we've come down through this zone. This area here, this purple line really corresponds with the bottom of that Euro USD zone, and then the one below it down here really corresponds well with that upper supply zone on the dollar as well. So that would be one really interesting to watch price come into here, especially if we get any negative divergence on RSI. And again, I'm not going to take any shorts in the euro at all right now. All right, let's over to look at gold. We had a nice spike up on gold the other day, and haven't come quite back up to that area again yet. Looking at our daily chart, we just came back up in that previously used area. If we break 1986, then we'll probably go all the way up to 2040 area there, and we would just continue to look for longs here. Turn that monitor off. Just not seeing anything that's really solid enough to take at this point. JY, Japanese yen futures. We are sideways on a daily, but overall down. So we'll be continuing to look for short positions here. Nothing there. I'm going through some of these a little bit more quickly just because it is the weekend, and I know I'm not going to hold anything over the weekend on this. So if it doesn't jump right out at me and look like a good solid trade that I can take advantage of today, then we'll wait and see what happens over the weekend before we look into anything else. Yeah, so our 30-minute long position or deal here is still good. Just looking for any other areas to get long on natural gas, and nothing outside of that one. So let's go to and K, we did have our 30-minute Nikkei zone work out perfectly for us yesterday. So price came right up into it a couple times, right? But then dropped, and then of course, when the markets opened last night, back up after the short gap at 5 p.m. Eastern, right, dropped right down, and this one worked out very, very well for us. But nothing else there. So again, we are still, short biased here, so continuing to look for other shorts. But as is the case with all the other index markets, they just don't exist right now. All right. Again, that really big spike up when the markets came back open last night. Still nothing really coming from this, though. I know we had not seeing anything there that's worth taking. Let's go to the 30-year bonds. I think we have this one set up. Oh no, this is a very old one. Yeah, very, very old zone. So it was no longer valid because it would have been a counter trend trade. So pull that one off. Just nothing else there. So Australian dollar, still having this bigger move up overall. We should look for additional places to get long here, and this may be a good one. So you've got a picture perfect zone right here. Look left, it's protected, but it's not a perfect protection, right? This should have been right below this last one here, but it's a good zone. Trend, still moving with the trend up. These two leg outs are about equal, so we would go down into this one here. This way, and let's go set this one up. So this is Australian dollar futures. This is a 15-minute long entry, 0.73095. Stop is 0.7299, and target is 0.7355. Okay. British pound. We came ever so close to our entry on the British pound, right here. And this trade needs to be taken off now, right? We had the picture perfect zone here. Candle, second candle or leg out was much longer than the first one out, so we were, our rules say to use the further zone in. Overall, what this is going to show is that the full zone absolutely worked. Just we didn't hit our entry, but just so knowing that the zone actually worked. And we just missed our entry. You don't keep these on and don't try and take them again when price comes up here. So that being said, right, we're still moving down. So we look for other areas to get short in, and let's see. We just look on a daily chart to see where we're at in context now. Yeah, still in this downtrend. We're not all at the bottom of the context, so it's not a bad place to be taking another short here. We are below the Bollinger Band though, so you would need price to come back up probably to the middle area before we would take another short right here. So I'm looking in that area up there and just not seeing anything yet. I'd rather wait and see what happens over the weekend than take a look at this again on like Sunday night to really get a better idea of what's going on there. Canadian dollar. So we had this 15-minute long. This one was a break even, right? Price came into it, hit our 1-to-1, but didn't quite come up and hit the target. So, at least no loss there, but it does look like we may be changing the trend on our Canadian dollar right now though. So we just go take a look at that on a daily chart. Yeah, looks like continuing the bigger picture downtrend. So what I saw on the 60-minute was this neutral trend now, so that's why we were taking that long. That didn't work out for us. So yeah, it definitely looked like it's going to keep coming down here. You're going to get a reaction to price right here. This picture perfect zone is actually protected. Did take out the previous pivot high over here. However, on a 60-minute, this is a counter trend trade, so that's why it would not work for a full length. Price is up here, came into it once already. So you'll see from this one right here, this will be we've already got the bounce. There you go. So there's the bounce for it. Now price will keep coming back down through that. All right. Got copper. Kind of been waiting for this bigger move up in copper. Typically speaking, when you have conflict like what's going on right now, that is what happens, right? Natural resources like this tend to become more scarce because they're being used for other purposes. That drives the price up, and it took a while for that to happen, which was a little bit odd. But now it is moving up again. So this other long that we had here, right, that didn't work out, it was the same area, right? These ones are a little bit frustrating because you look at this and go, man, I was so close to it, taking advantage of, a much bigger move up like this. Again, we are, sticking up out of the Bollinger Band on the daily chart, so you want to be careful about getting in, on a quick retracement long. You really would want to wait more for a bigger move back down into between the Bollinger Bands here. Yeah, nothing close. I don't want to run any risks this weekend. Let's see what happens over the weekend and then take a look at it on Sunday night or Monday morning. Looking at some share bar charts real quick. So it did have one trade yesterday. Where did that one come in at? So a couple of these that I was marking, actually it's like 3 days ago now. Shoot, got this one bugged again. Just cycle through this so I can get that chart closed. Okay, don't use the 3000 share bar chart there. I'm not sure what happened to that one zone from yesterday, but we did take were able to take advantage of this almost this entire move up last night on oil. I don't remember where I got that trade from. But just again, looking at this, right, we're starting to go over the past day and a half now sideways again. So this is just one you just want to be very careful in these areas that you don't try and take a trade and hold on to it for a long period of time when you're in this more of a sideways move, and wait for price to get out of the white space area to take advantage of that. And again, I'm not seeing anything here. ES, just pull up the 100,000 share bar chart. Again, this will give you a kind of a good idea of almost the same thing that the daily does, right? And so these the dashed lines here are the breaks in each day. And so you can see here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going to the 6th day now, we're all trading in this same space, right? Wait for price to get outside of these to take advantage of any bigger moves here. Just really gotta watch that. So yeah, not again going into the weekend. Don't hold anything. Don't take that level of risk unless you've got a good hedging strategy there. And I think that will be it for us today. So thanks for joining. If you found this useful to you, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get notifications when we do these live sessions and any other content that we release. Again, have a happy and safe trading day, very safe weekend, and we'll see you all again on Monday morning.